Good morning. And this is Animalotic Corner. You know, today's brunch day. Got all your ingredients. And you got your aid from the Aftermath Foundation or NGR Aftermath Foundation and the SPTV Foundation. You got your transportation, a roof over your head, and the brand new clothes on your back. And you got your job, or you just got your job. And yeah, there is necessities that you need, and that is food and your recipes. And eventually you're going to have to do your own cooking. So I have this segment for all of you Scientologists and everybody just got out of a cult, and all you guys who weren't in a cult can also join in as well. This whole segment is not limited to anybody, so join in on our festivities now. Okay, today we are going to be making quiche. And as you know, yesterday we were preparing our crust so it can sit overnight and thicken. So we're going to get to work in our filling. So let's get started, everybody. First, you're going to need tofu. Yeah, we are lacking one ingredient today, and that's the plant-based milk, but that's okay. If you're missing an ingredient and if it's wet, then sometimes this doesn't make any difference if you're missing one ingredient. So, okay. All right. So we got our tofu. I'm going to cut it up, put it in the food processor right here. Okay. Cut it up. Ooh, I forgot to get out the broccoli. Yeah, I'll get it in a sec. Or maybe I'll get it now. Hold on. Yeah, I have to defrost it so I could actually cut into it. So here we go. I'm going to cut it up, put it in the food processor, and I need my blade. Hold on. Here it is. All right, here's our blade. We're going to cut up our soy, put it in here. Okay. Right. And I think I got a good amount of stories for you. And I do have also good news. So let me get that. Okay. There. Yep. And is there another story I have about Scientology? No. Okay. I'm probably going to be boring today. I think probably going to be boring today, but guess what? I'll try and come up with a topic. Okay. Now, Oh, need to top this. Ah, here we go. All right. All right, now we're going to work it somehow. This is a weird thing, so we're going to actually. Okay, it is plugged in, so what is possibly wrong? All right. Yeah, well, let me see here. This is the most weirdest thing on earth. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're going to pause for a second, let it cool off a bit. What the hell? Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, still cool. Pause every second so your food processor won't burn out. But if you have something like a Ninja product, guess what? The good part is it only burns out for a certain amount of minutes, but if it cools off, it'll start back up again. But some food processors actually burn out and never work again. But this one is just handy. So we're going to go into a smooth-like texture. That's the texture it's going to take for actually to go. All right, it's going into a smooth-like texture. I'm going to stop, pause briefly to let it cool off a bit. Last thing you want is for it to stall on you while you're doing this. Okay, it's going into a smooth-like texture. That's the texture you need to actually work with it. Pause. Let it cool off a bit. Okay. All right. Go back. Oh boy. Let's see. All right. Okay. Well, it's okay. So, all right. Okay. So I have your oven preheated on 425. So, okay. All right. Now, oops. Okay. All right. Okay, let me get a spoon to get some of it off. Okay, here we go. All right. So I am on with you today. So my family looks like like they're not going to come till later, so I am good. Yeah, families are just too hard to figure out sometimes. But guess what? They love you. All family members do, especially your little ones. All right. All right. All right. Now, as soon as you're done grinding it up through your food processor, put it in to your mixing bowl. Now, since we don't have the plant-based milk, we're going to put water in it. It won't make a difference. If you're missing that one ingredient, then don't worry about it. Just replace it with another one. See, if it's milk, you use water. Oops. If it's an oregano, use basil. Just use any herb or whatever. Okay. And now, in case you want eggs instead, I think it would be about 6 eggs, but cut 3 yolks out to keep your cholesterol level steady. But I'm not going to use eggs. I'm going to use tofu. I don't want to lose my vegan vegetarian badge, and I know I can't cram everything down everybody's throat, so go ahead, use those 6 eggs. Yeah, you can tell I'm pure vegetarian, so and want to try and be a vegan, but the more deep you get into vegetarianism and going into veganism, it gets more expensive. And whenever you eat healthy, it just gets more expensive, which is ridiculous. This is a way of the industry making money off of people's needs. So, okay. Not the people that work for the company, but corporate. It's corporate greed. So, but some of them are not greedy. Some go beyond minimum wage, but not like Scientology, where they're even the scavenge. Gotta have all of it and not share. Yeah, it's not a nonprofit organization. And it's definitely not a religion. It's a corporate. It's a corporate scam. And there are corporate scams working in the world, unfortunately. Okay. Oops. All right, that should do it with that one. Put this in the sink. Or, yeah, put it in the sink. All right, because we're going to cut our onion into circles, stick it right in. Yeah, we're not going to actually use that much of it. Or, yeah, you can. It burned out, my motor burned out, so can't use it. So, but good news is it's available for me to use. And if you have the Ninja product, as soon as it cools off, it starts back up again. And it's not like most food processors. It's the great part. Okay. And okay, that's 14 to 16 ounces of tofu. We're going to put 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. All right, we're going to use mixing. Okay, and we're going to use broccoli for our filling. So, all right, this is the only yeast I have. The neutral one is I think the brick one. Yeah, this is for bread, but I'm going to use it anyway. So, okay. All right, so, yeah, use the brick. If you don't have it available, use this. Okay, so it's 2.5 teaspoons yeast. Guess it will make it rise. Yes. Okay. And a half. Oh, that's the half tablespoon. Oh boy. All right. All along I was thinking it was but it's a half tablespoon. So. All right. We're going to put each and everything back in its proper corner because guess what? Got a limited space, of course. I keep saying it. And yeah, I just need that space. All right. Now we stir this. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, next one, we're going to yeast. Use a tablespoon and a half or no, it's a teaspoon and a half of olive oil. All right. And guess what? I do have good news for you. Aaron got one of my emails. Should be good. He thanked me for it. And I looked into actually getting maybe something free or taking a certain percentage off of a product. It went through, I put those numbers through to Aaron. He's got it in his hands. Hopefully it'll be a good use for him. All right. Okay. All right. Here's teaspoon. All right. And a half of olive oil. There it is. Okay. Put this back. All right. And then we're going to stir this up. All right. Oh, I hope all those former Scientologists or turning independent Scientologists, whatever, but most likely former Scientologist. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to need 2.5 teaspoons of garlic. I left my glasses in the other room, but you know what? I'm going to rinse this off. Okay. All right. There we go. So we're going to add 2.5 teaspoons garlic. That spoon is never going to fit through that hole. Sometimes these companies don't make anything big enough for you to fit. Isn't that figures? So 2.5 teaspoons. Okay, there. Okay, 2.5 teaspoon garlic. Okay. Put this in. Righty. Okay, so there we go. We're going to rinse these off just in case we need these again. All right, mix this up. All right, and let's see. And as you know, the IAS event is today, and Alex is probably there by now. We'll check it out later. If there's a footage, I will definitely hop on with you if he has his camera there with him, his cell phone camera there with him, or if he wants to record the whole protest or not. But yeah. And let's see what else. Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, is Tom Cruise going to be there? Maybe, but my guess is no. After that humiliation with Leah Remedy, I don't think he's going to show his face in public, but if he does, that's the way it goes. So, all right. Let's see. There's okay. All right. Usually I don't put any salt, but put like if you want to put salt in, it is optional. You could do that. Just put like maybe 1/4, 1/3, because if you put more than that, it's going to taste extremely salty. So, but if you want salt, by all means, go right ahead. But if you have high blood pressure, don't bother. Consult with your doctor first before doing something like that. Okay, there we go. All righty. Now we're going to mix it up. All righty. Now, garlic powder. And we're going to put 3.5 tablespoons of flour. Tablespoon. Okay. Here it is. Here's our beloved tablespoon. Yep, 1 tablespoon. Yeah, this is what happens if you Don't remember to bring your glasses. All right, so we're going to use 3.5 tablespoons of flour. So let's get that. One, 3.5 tablespoons of flour. This is the half. Okay. Now we're going to put this back in its rightful place. Stir this up. Now you need to have the flour so it can thicken up a bit while it's cooking, or else it's not going to look good. All right. All right. Let's see. And of course, on Halloween, also was added again. They wouldn't even let Audit LA pass through the sidewalks. As usual, they think they own the street. It's a free country. They don't follow the law. And yet, they don't suffer any of the consequences. And it's all due because they know how to kiss up to everybody, especially the police department. But guess what? That's only some of them. The other half, they're going to put their foot down with them. The good ones, anyways. The corrupt ones, forget it. Yeah. Anyone could be a little, there's corruption in everything, unfortunately, including our police department, which is the last place you expect corruption to happen. But what can you do? Tim Tallman is one of them. I know that. And there's one other police, I think he's a sergeant in Clearwater. I just don't remember his name. But it's unbelievable. And Audit LA just said it like it is. She just let them have it and say, no, I'm passing through here. It's a free country. You can't stop me from doing it. And of course, they knew the law. They can have that block for a block party, but they can't prohibit anybody from passing through. That's just it. They can't say anything to anyone. If they want to pass right through, they can. So, and I am in shock that they let those people have a permit, since they abuse their right to have a permit and don't follow any of the laws. So, let's see. At the same time, they do have the right to have it, but they have one incident after another with that street, especially when they put those block cements in the middle of the whole street. And they keep getting permit. They constantly let them have that street, and it can't be blocked that often since it's one of the routes to the hospital. So all you that don't care about the law, every route has to have the main route to get to a hospital. You can't block it. So, yes, I know that there could be another street they can go through, but that's mainly the point. You cannot go blocking the main route of a hospital. Something can seriously happen. Of course, Miscavige and Cruz don't understand things like that. And Tom Cruise is going to claim he does, but he doesn't. All right. And yeah, a lot of creepy stuff happens. And plus, a lot of the kids that are there are not Scientologists. They don't let their Scientology kids go to that party. They don't. Let's just face it. None of those kids are Scientologists. That's their recruitment tactic. Of course, let's see. All right. 1 tablespoon hot cornstarch. Okay, we'll put that right in. Just 1 tablespoon. Alrighty, there we go. Mix it up. All right. Okay. And now we're going to put about a cup of, since we don't have the soy milk, we're going to put in water. So we're going to put in about a cup of water. Let's see. All right. Now, this might only take half of it, so let's try it. Yeah, I never do these things ahead of time, so we're going to mix it up. Okay. And as you add the water, mix it up. Okay, so far my family hasn't called, so I think we're good. So we're gonna put a little bit more in. So far we're used about 3/4. Let's see. So it can be 3/4. Okay, we did put in 3/4. All right, mix it up. But usually it does call for soy, but if you don't have it, just use water because it has to be a little flat for it to be worked with. It can't be a pack of glump. So add water if you don't have soy. Okay. Now, you know what? I'm a bit of a daredevil when it comes to things like this because, you know what? I don't really do these things. Of course, you guys know that since I bring it up every single time. Yeah, I don't do these things ahead of time, which I should, but I never do. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But in one of the segments on how to run a stream, they said mistakes makes views. So I'm like, okay, fine. So that's one of the other reasons why I don't really do it ahead of time because I want to make this another episode of a comedy. So, all right. All righty. Now, stir this up and all right, stir it. All right. Okay, and what else is up? Now, let's see. Yeah. Did the police get there? It looks like they did because they let her pass through. Usually they don't let anyone through unless the LAPD is actually there, the good ones anyway. and tell them, you know what, you cannot select who should go through and who should not. This is a public sidewalk, period. And of course, if you want anything to be private, there's red tape and applications that you have to fill out. And it has to be a neighborhood agreement. You have to let the neighborhood know about privatizing any streets. The neighbors have to agree with the whole thing, and there are rules attached to that, meaning, well, my uncle lived on private streets in Massachusetts, one in Cape Cod and the other one in another town in Massachusetts. Yeah, and it's the neighborhood. The neighborhood is a whole. But there are laws that you have to follow if you want to privatize a street. In Massachusetts, you have to let the cars go by. As a pedestrian, you know what? Of course, not that many pedestrians went in, and I guess it's okay. But at the same time, if you go onto somebody's private property, it's another thing. But could they trespass you? It's possible. But there are rules attached to those as well. If you want to privatize a street, it's also going to have rules attached to it. There are no exceptions to the law. Okay. And some streets actually let them pass and some don't. But if you're trying to get to another town, it's possible. But there are laws attached to it, and you have to follow them. So it was like that when he actually moved in. So I guess he went all along with a private street because it was a nice area, not because he thinks he owns the street, no. But it was a nice area. But it was already privatized. So, all right. And yeah, they can't just take over. Okay. Maybe we'll put a little bit more water. See how much it is. Okay. All right. I think this may do it. It looks like it's a half a cup. All right. So it looks like we're going to put a half a cup of broccoli. Okay. And an onion, maybe one onion. Yeah. We will put the one onion in. Half a cup. Okay. It's still on 2/3, maybe a little more. Okay. That should be it. So it's, yeah, 2/3 water. Add about 2/3 of the water. And that includes the soy if you have it. But if you don't have the soy, use water. All right, that should do it. Okay, it's nice, it's smooth, and it has a good texture to it. All right, so we're going to dump this out. All right, now we're going to put the cornstarch away. Okay. Right. Now, after we're done with the quiche, and I got time, we're gonna also, looks like, bring on the countdown to Thanksgiving side dishes. We're gonna make cranberry sauce. I got the fresh stuff in my refrigerator. We're gonna use it. So am I gonna be making a dessert today? Doesn't really look it. Okay, so now I'm gonna, did I leave anything out? Okay. All right, we're gonna put, yeah. There's, let's see, shallot and cheese. This is the filling. Of course, this is the filling to the quiche. So mix it up. We're gonna put it in the shallot. Of course, this is, you can use any one onion. If you want to add a big onion, go ahead. But use a regular size. But if you love onions and insist on having it, go ahead. Okay. Oh, I think I'm going to tear up today. All right, there we go. All right. All right. All right, there we go. And there's one other thing about Scientology. They think the rules don't apply to them, and they can break any laws they want, even though usually they do call the police, but it's usually to get their own way. And that's why you can't have your own way in life. So, all right. All right. Threw away the onion peels. Now, if you want less tears, okay, rinse or wash off the onion. And should have less tears, but I haven't tried this yet. But let's see if we dunk it into water, if it reduces some of the tears. I'll try that one day. So, all right, you cut this in half. Well, in a wedge anyway. Okay, so cut this up really quick before I tear up. Okay, here's one. There's two. So this is going to be an onion and broccoli quiche, or vegan quiche, or whatever it is you want to use. But me, I usually don't cram anything down anybody's throat. So it's nothing you can do if there's people who aren't vegetarians, but love animals anyway, or whatever. But yeah, we, unfortunately, not everybody's going to be a vegetarian, but choose to eat right anyway. But with animal rights activists, yeah, it's murder. Okay. All right. But if anyone kills a pet, yes, everybody's going to be sensitive about it, unless you're really, really nasty. So, all right. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to mix in the onions. Use one regular onion or one regular shallot. Usually I use shallots because it's, for me, it's a little bit easier to use. That's the way I look at it. All right, and now we're going to add I think 1 cup. Okay, let's see. We're gonna add the 1 cup. We're gonna measure it, but use the crown, but not the stem. But guess what? You can't eat the stem. It's not really limited, so you can use it. But usually it's the crown that it's needed. Usually in a recipe. So you cut off the stem, but you can still eat it. It's all right. Here we go. So, okay, and yeah, even in a private street, if a car wants to pass through, you have to let them pass through. Anyways, those are the laws in Massachusetts. I don't know what laws there are in all the other states or here in the state that I'm in. So, okay, take this off. So you need the crown. Okay, some of it already has a crown, so chop up the crown. Let's see if we can put the whole thing in. If not, well then that's the way it goes. All right. Okay. All right, and let's see, what other stories do I have so that we won't have dead air? So it's going to look like a half. Let's see if we'll put the other ones in as well. If not, well then, hey. All right, so mix up the broccoli. All righty. Yeah, I think we can put a little more in there. All right. Let's see if it's the half. Okay. Well, if you want to eat this, then it's edible. You just need the crown. So, all right. Okay. Ooh, not that. All right. And it looks like, yeah, it was just, so it's 1 cup, 1/3, 1/4. All right. So it's, yeah, it looks like it's 1/3. So, all right. So you still can eat this. So it's not really that bad. I'll just use it for my salad. But guess what? Once you take something out of the freezer and it's out, you cannot put it back in. It'll sour up. You can get sick. All right. Okay. And we got our cheese, so we're going to use our leftovers too. And it's 1 cup, so let's see if this is all 1 cup. So we're going to use the leftover cheese that we had from the Burdick, I think. I think it was the Burdick. Or Spanakopita or whatever. So, no, this is not enough cheese, so toss this in the sink. So, And let's see, I haven't come up with a story yet because I was busy doing something else. Yeah, when I was doing my book and had all the pictures, I used pictures and all of a sudden the pictures just took over and I was missing half of my work, so I had to type it up again. But I still have my notes. All I have to do is type it in. Thank God I don't have to do the research again. So okay, so there it is. Half of or a cup of cheese. Now, if you want, you could use, well, usually I use cheddar, but Gouda or that cheese that's been named after Will. What's it? Gouda? Yeah, Gouda. All right. All right. All right. But you know what? The quiche is not limited to any filling. I mean, you could put stuff like sausages, but I would use the vegan one. And I mean, you can use any of the fill. You can use any type. So we're gonna put this in. Put in the cheese. That's 1 cup. Yep, 1 cup of the cheese. Let's see. All right, what else is there to tell? Oh, Halloween was so amazing. Let's see. I kicked back. I had my brownies. It was the Day of the Dead. Of course, I was sitting there remembering all the times that I had with my parents. When I was a young child on this day. We went trick-or-treating. And of course, when you're a child, you think, oh, wow, trick-or-treating and all these great stuff. But the main thing about that day is day of remembrance, remembering your ancestors, remember everybody you love passing away. It's day of remembrance. It's honoring the dead, not like using it to scare people. That's not what that day is all about. It's about remembrance. So yeah, that's what it's really all about. Not the parties, not the candy or the sweets. It's about remembrance. So, and that's traditionally a pagan holiday, but guess what? Now, I go to church sometimes, but guess what? All the information is on the internet. And it looks like 1/2 of witchcraft is the art of white witchcraft. They use positive magic, not evil ones. It has to do with your intentions. And some of the spells are not that bad, but I mean, if I was one, I wouldn't use a love spell on anyone. It's something that's free will. But usually Christian witches don't use love spells, usually. They don't. They think love comes from within. But yeah, it's usually a pagan holiday. And guess what? The information came out. It's not as bad as people think it is. It's the church way of scaring people. And they don't like other religions, and they would just think their religion is the only religion, but we have to sometimes keep an open mind, because guess what? Buddhism is not evil. Hinduism, well, it has to depend on the person that's in it and the ministers that run it or the leaders that run it. Buddhism isn't evil. Definitely isn't evil. Hindu isn't evil. And other than that, you know what? We just, as long as you don't hurt any, this is my theory. I do go to church on occasion, and because I still love God, I still love Jesus. And I do go on occasions. So, okay. Now, I'm going to clear off the top. But Christianity thinks their religion is the only religion. And no, it's not. I mean, not everything in the world is evil. There are good in the world, especially if it's paganism. So they think the Bible is telling them that, but there are hidden messages in the Bible. And I'm sorry, but there is a dark side to Christianity. There are Christian cults. This cults of any kind, not just limited to one typical group. No, it can be any. It can be anything from, let's see, anything from, okay, anything from, let's see, business to religion, yoga. It could be anything. And they think it's spiritual, and it's not. And when it's business, if it's Christian and it's a business, they're gonna think, oh wow, God made this company for me, and I'm gonna run the group as natural and use God at the same time. But no, that's definitely no. All right, yeah. So cults can come in any form. So, in accordance to Joy Villa, there are Christian cults. So when you join a group, make sure that group is not dangerous. Okay. All right. Okay. Since this channel is about cults, especially Scientology, that's the main topic, because they're the most dangerous one. Not as dangerous, well, the mafia softened up. According to Don McKeever and Michael Francese, the mob is not as strong as it was before. Like the golden era of the mafia or La Cosa Nostra. It practically lost some of their power. They softened up. So it wasn't like the heyday of the mafia. And now that the internet is around, that they're running scared. And of course, as you know, if you know of this figure, the former mob boss is Joey Molino. I think that's might be the reason why he went into retirement, but he thinks it's the people. He just didn't like anybody. And now those guys are usually born into that life. Joey Molino happens to be one of them. Some of them just got recruited through the organization. They usually hang out at schools waiting for them to be plucked. And if they see this one tough guy or tough kid, they're going to recruit him. Now, is he going to continue on with school? You know what? It's possible. The mob could be anywhere, including in the schools, because that's where they pluck him. And if they continue to go to school, they will finish it if that's their intent, and then go on to college. Now, there could be a college student in the mob. We just can't tell. It could be anybody, but they're not going to come out like Scientologists and say, I'm in the mob. No. Or I'm a mobster, or in La Costa Nostra, I'm a mafia. No, they don't come out and say it like Scientology comes out and says, hey, I'm a Scientologist. No. And it's not something they use in conversation either. They would use their religion as a conversation, but they don't really give full details. But yeah, mafia frowns on that. But all right. Okay. All right. So here we go. Oh, and it's nice and stiff, but I hope it's not too stiff. Okay. All right. So we're going to grab out the flour again. All right. We're going to just put this in for about maybe a minute so it can be easier to use. But this is really tough, so let me do that. Okay. We're going to recycle this. Or I think I'm going to recycle it, but who knows. So we're going to take the flour out again, and we're going to put it on the counter so it's easier to knead the dough. Okay. All right, it's softened up a bit, so we're going to use it. Oh, gosh. Alrighty. Now we're going to grab out pie crust. It looks like I left it in too long, so let me see here. Now we're going to put a little bit of flour on the counter so it's easier to knead. Oh my gosh, it's falling apart. Okay, knead it. And of course, you have to roll out your dough. Oh, maybe I was supposed to leave it like that, but who knows. But as usual, you know, I don't do these things ahead of time. But it is a little bit more better to handle, but who knows. Now, yeah, leave it the other way around, knead it, but if it falls apart, then I'm sorry. I'll readjust the crust recipe. So, but okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna get out. Okay. I'm gonna get out. Oh my gosh, it's sticking in the counter. Yeah, I'll readjust the crust recipe, but it'll still be edible, so don't worry. So I looks like I'm only gonna put a cup in. All right. Maybe about 1/8 of a cup. All right. Let me get out my. Okay. It's a little soft, but you know what? I'm gonna put just a little bit of cooking spray in it so it doesn't stick. All right. All right. Here we go. All right, there. So it gets to be a little bit too much, take a paper towel, just spray a little bit in there. So I will readjust the crust recipe. By Thanksgiving, it'll be fine. So it looks like we're going to have to only use possibly 2/3 of a butter. So let me see. All righty. All right. So it should, yeah, it's fine. All right. All right. So it didn't feel so good. So I will readjust the crust recipe. So yeah, they say mistakes bring views. So that's one of the reasons why I decided, let me try it on screen. Okay. So, all right. So yes, I will readjust the crust recipe, and it looks like I'm only going to put maybe 2/3 butter, maybe 1 cup of, or maybe 1 cup of flour. Okay, but for now we're going to actually stick it in, and then it was actually hard, and I'm like, is it too hard to actually knead? And looks like it is, but then it softened up, and it's not rollable, so I have to do this recipe over again, and it'll be ready a couple of days before Thanksgiving. And guess what? A day before Thanksgiving, I will be making apple pie, and you will be present while I stream the recipe. But yes, I do have to readjust the recipe a bit. So it's just too soft. So I'm going to have to stick this in the quart pan. So, but it will still be edible. Now, I just didn't want, and as you know, you cannot use copyrighted material online. If it's not yours, then you're going to have to find some way to readjust it. But if it's like a church group that uses it for their organization, then they're not going to mind. Just ask them. They're going to say, you know what, go right ahead. So they're not going to care. So they're going to say, go right ahead and use it. But yeah. All right. So you cannot use copyrighted materials. You have to readjust it to fit the program. And that's what they tell you when you actually do your YouTube page. So you can't use anyone else's material but your own. So, okay. All right. Okay, so here we go. This is a laugh. All right. But you know what? It's still going to be edible. So, as I mentioned before. So, yes, it is too soft, and I'm going to have to readjust the recipe. I possibly have to put like a little less butter in it, maybe like 2/3, maybe a cup of flour, I think. I'll readjust the recipe. Okay. Right. Where is the crust recipe? Yeah, I have to readjust the crust recipe. Okay. And if something goes wrong, readjust with whatever it is you have. That's all. So it has the balance at the same time. And a lot of the recipes I used in the past came from my mother, so it's definitely balanced. I'll be making baklava either in Christmas or Thanksgiving, and it looks like I might make it in Thanksgiving. If I get the feel though, I'm definitely going to make it in Thanksgiving. And guess what? My family's going to get the joy of trying it. And I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to use it. All right. And I do actually try to live within my means. Right. Yeah. And if you become a part of affiliate program and you're streaming, make sure it doesn't require a merch store. I made a little error and they charged me, but I sent in my notice to them and they probably got it by now. All right, here we go. Since this is soft, I'm not going to poke holes in it. So usually with a pie crust, they poke holes in it. But if it's cream, they don't. Okay, maybe. Yeah, usually they poke holes in it. Okay. Alrighty. Put some of the crust in there. Oh, sorry about the dead silence. All right, let's see what else is happening. All right. Let's see. Of course, from the former Mormonism world, of course, Melissa and Sam, as you knew, Sam is the son of Jeff Warren. And of course, they got 2 kids. One of them would have had a birthday by now. Happy belated birthday, kids. All right. And they've been out of that cult. Now, I don't know how long. I should look that up. All right. And yeah. And one of his brothers from another mother or same mother, whatever, was actually gay. And I think Jeff Warren might have cut him out altogether. And he is just a bully. Some leaders, I mean, they're all narcissists, but there are percentages that has this charm, or it varies on personality, but guess what? They're most likely to be a narcissist. It is very mean. Usually they are, but there's no way of telling. All right. And as you know, truth comes out. And since we have the internet, everything comes out, including everything from the Vatican. They are going to hop on the internet and say what's going on. Now, former priests actually didn't particularly go for what was going on in the Vatican or the church, and they came out. And of course, they're using the internet. It wasn't like in the past where you go to a newspaper and other means of media. It didn't really come out as much because people have the tendency of dismissing it, saying, you know what, it's a free country, deal with it. So, but along came the internet and all the secrets spilled. So nobody's immune. And we all have our critics, whether it's our family, outsiders, everyone gets them. Nobody's an exception. It's how we handle it. Do we always like what they say? course not. But sometimes it can be realistic, and that is called constructive criticism. That's what it is. It's not really that bad. So sometimes we learn from them. All right, there we go. Now we're going to add the filling in. Okay. And the oven is preheated. Okay. Definitely have to readjust this recipe. Yeah, and don't worry, I did clean the counter yesterday, so all right. Okay. All righty, there we go. Now I'm gonna have to wipe my hands off. All right. Since I did not hear from my in-laws, we're gonna have another countdown version of Countdown to Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be making cranberry sauce. So let's see. Now, and then next weekend, I will be making apple sauce. Okay. Yeah, the homemade kind you can make yourself. And you don't need to get it from the store. It's homemade. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna put this away. Okay, did I have brunch yet? No, I didn't. I didn't eat anything when I came on because guess what? It'll be done and I will definitely eat this. So I'm gonna put in our filling. And you can definitely smell the onions in this one. But if you don't want onions, you don't have to put in. If you don't like onions, you don't have to use. So, but you have to add in the flavor. And you do have to use salt and tofu. But you don't have to use salt and eggs. Even though I don't use it myself. And so we're going to put this in. All right. And you all know Mango's out of the closet. Steve Mango is out of the closet, as you know. He was one of the former Scientologists who was gay before actually going in to that religion. And yeah, they just needled him. All because he was gay, which is wrong. So Scientology is a hate group. Of course, some of them really doesn't understand it, but they think it's a wonderful place to be. But how is it wonderful? Oh, of course, if you're have a name or wealthy, yeah, they tend to treat you differently. Like, yeah, Hollywood, Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and Jenna Elfman, and Nancy Cartwright. Yeah, they think they're a piece of cake. Yeah, they take their money. Now, how can they? It's not gonna. Yeah, and they don't understand it's going right into David Miscavige's pocket. Yeah, but you know what? There's nothing we can do about it. Sometimes we're blind. We are so blind to these things that we don't realize that a person could be tipping, could be ripping you off, even though maybe some of them are nice, but some of them would be nice to you to order to get your money. That's the main thing. That's what Scientology is doing. They're going after people's money. They're only out for profit, not human feelings. So, okay. All right. And they're also nonprofits, which is really worse because they have rules to it. So, all right, that should do it with the quiche. Now we're going to stick it in the oven for about maybe 30 to 35 minutes until it's completely brown on top or stiff. So it has to look brown. So I would say about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay. So, but keep checking on it. All right, so we're going to stick this in. All right. And usually, of course, I always say this when I get on, usually brunch is served between 6 until about 12 or 1. So, and the reason why they call it brunch is because it's between breakfast and lunch, which would practically fill another person until dinner. Well, it'll fill me up till dinner anyway. All right. Now we're going to make the cranberry sauce. All right. All right. Now let's see here. Now for this, we're going to use the saucepan. Okay, let's see. Now this is countdown till Thanksgiving. So we're going to, each and every weekend in the month of November, we are going to cook our side dishes and our desserts. Okay. All right, let's see. So now first, perfect. So first, you need 12 ounces of cranberries, the whole packet. So, all right, so where's that scissor? Here it is. So we're going to cut this open. Oh, I need the bowl. Okay. All right, and then we're going to cut this open. And is this recyclable? Let's see here. Oh, no, it doesn't look. Okay, we're going to pour it into the bowl. So we're going to use it before it goes bad. But not a desirable one in there. Another one. Okay. All right. All right. Now we're going to dump this in the pot after we're done washing it. Should I put this in? And nobody will notice once it's, well, yeah, let's just dump it. And of course, I'm going to be getting a food compactor or whatever it is it's called. So, all right. All right. Now we're going to use about, I think, 3 cups of water, 3 or 4 cups of water. Let's see here. So let's see here. Yeah, it's about 2.5 cups. Yeah, because yeah, it is floating a little bit. Just put it. Now let's just put it all in. Nah, it's good. Just put the whole 3 cups in, and then put about a 1/2 cup to 1 cup of sugar. Me, I love that sour taste, so I'm thinking maybe I'll put a 1/2 cup, but usually it's just 1 cup. You have to let it balance. So let's see here. So all right. So we're gonna put this on medium heat, and then wrong one. Yeah, we're gonna put this on medium heat, which is 4. And add just 1 cup of sugar, just 1 cup. But if you want to put a 1/2 of it in there, you can, but possibly maybe anywhere from, let's see, 1/2 to maybe 1 cup. Don't put any more than 1 cup. So let me just put 1 more cup in there. There. All right, now you mix it up. Okay. I'm going to use, okay, mix it up before you actually come to a boil. All right, there we go. That's all you need. All right. And then next weekend, I'm going to show you that recipe. And of course, you know, every Thanksgiving table or Christmas table, you would see the cranberry sauce. Fresh. Usually it's from a can, but nothing beats the fresh thing. Okay. So I'm going to close it up. It's on medium heat. It'll cook up. So, all right. And it's on to 1.5 hours. 1 hour and 31 minutes. 1.5 hours. So guess what? It's time to close shop. Now, I'm working on Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal. If you want to contribute to my channel, you can. If you can't afford it, don't pay. Just watch the show. But guess what? You can pay any amount you want. It could be $1. But if you don't want to pay it, you won't even have to. Just watch the show. But if you want to contribute, it can be anywhere from $1 to $10. The amount is in your hands, not mine. So it's going to feel funny accepting donations just for an internet connection. But guess what? I'm poor. So, and if I get more than enough, then yeah, I'm going to give half of it to the SP Aftermath Foundation. But I am no position to donate anything. That's why I have this cooking segment. So, hit the like, press subscribe, and I will see you Wednesday.